How's it hanging, Rasmanites? As you can see by the title, I am finally here to do my review for Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to the 2009 film by J.J. Abrams. And I apologize, by the way, if you hear any background noise. Those loud, obnoxious kids are out on my playground again, and it just seems to be 24/7 anymore. So with the Yeti, I just never know what it's picking up. But yeah, those of you that follow the Facebook fan page, that's why I said finally, because those of you that follow that page are probably like, where the heck has this been? Because you know that I saw this all the way back last Wednesday. Well, I've just been crazy busy getting work organized. I've got work videos up through the rest of this week, and then you will hear the same announcement there that you're going to hear here in the next video. So yeah, I've just been crazy busy, and I'll talk more about it in the next episode. But Star Trek Into Darkness, I gotta say, I was very wary of this film because I was so in love with the last film, and I thought there's absolutely nothing that J.J. Abrams can do to improve on what he did in 2009. And Star Trek has that tendency where in the past it has made one good film and then a bad film and then a good film and a bad film. So it's like the roller coaster goes up and down and up and down. So I was really nervous about this one. But what really sold me on it was the man who, in my opinion, is the greatest Sherlock Holmes of the last 10 years, Benedict Cumberbatch from the BBC Sherlock series, was the main villain in the film. And I thought, well, that at the very least has got to be full of awesome. And if it was who I expected it to be, then I knew it was going to be full of awesome. So went into this cautiously optimistic, and I gotta say that everything about it just worked on every level. The direction, the cinematography, the action, the acting, oh my god, the acting. Chris Pine, Carl Urban, Zachary Quinto, Uhura, whose name I always forget, so I'll put it in overlay. Simon Pegg as Scotty, all the main characters really stepped up their game. This story was really intense right from the very beginning. I'm going to get into the point now where I start talking about the film so that I can give my thoughts on it. So if you have not seen it, go ahead and put this review in your favorites so you can come back to it later when you see the film. Alright, so the story kicks off with the Enterprise is on this remote planet, and they're on the planet with this alien race who can barely communicate, and they don't have any form of a spoken language. So the prime directive is very straightforward, that they can't let the Enterprise or any of the crew be seen by these group of aliens because it would be a major culture shock to them. But there is a volcano that's about to erupt on the planet, and if it erupts, the entire planet will be destroyed. So the Enterprise devises this plan, and they put Spock in this suit to protect him from the volcano, and Spock goes down and sets freezable exploding charges, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. They didn't really specify what they were, but they were essentially bombs that were frozen that caused the atmosphere to freeze and caused the volcano to keep from erupting. So they succeed in that, but they have an inability to communicate with Spock because of stuff that happens in the atmosphere and the volcano. So the Enterprise is hiding under the ocean on this planet, so it's not seen. And then Kirk makes the tough call to violate the prime directive, and he has the Enterprise, sorry for Toby in the background, he has the Enterprise raise up out of the ocean and reveal itself to this alien race so that they can lock on to Spock and transport him out and save his life. So As a repercussion of that, Kirk and Spock and the Enterprise are called Starfleet, where Admiral Pike, Bruce Greenwood, returning from the last film, informs them that they have to take disciplinary action. As I try to talk over Kaden in the background, it's Memorial Day when I'm filming this. Not the best day to film things, but like I said, I've just been crazy busy. Anyway, they're told by Admiral Pike that they are being punished, and the punishment is that Spock has been reassigned to another ship, and Kirk has been demoted to first officer of the Enterprise under Admiral Pike, who's going to take back over control of the ship. So right after that happens, all of the major chain of command in Starfleet is called to the Starfleet War Room and told about this enemy, John Anderson, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who has taken out a remote outpost in Starfleet and caused a ripple and gone rogue. And Kirk uses his ever vigilance and realizes, hey, why is this guy going after a remote outpost in Starfleet when nothing's there? There's nothing to accomplish here. He realizes that he actually just did it to get all the heads of Starfleet in this one room where they actually are right now, and he screams at everybody, get down, get out of the room, get down. And Anderson proceeds to mow down the room. Pike gets killed. So Kirk is all upset, obviously, and he goes to the head of Starfleet, Admiral Marcus, and tells Admiral Marcus, reinstate my command. Let me take Spock, reinstate him as my first officer. The Enterprise is going to go after this bastard because Starfleet can't. So Marcus tells him, you go into the neutral zone, you find him, you haul ass. Well, they find out that where he's hiding in the neutral zone is the one place that the Enterprise can't go, which is Kronos, the Klingon homeworld. So there's a whole thing about, once again, they're violating the Prime Directive, risking war with the Klingons by showing up on Kronos, but they're determined to complete their mission. So they get to Kronos and are trying to warn the Klingons about John Anderson and about this Starfleet fugitive that's among them, trying to hurt them. But the Klingons, being typical Klingons from the original crew, they don't take Uhura at her word as a Starfleet translator, and they start to attack Kirk and his crew. And Anderson proceeds to save Kirk and the away team. And he asks them, the torpedoes that you threatened me with, because that's something I forgot, I need to backtrack a little bit here. Scotty actually resigns as chief engineer of the Enterprise because he doesn't like what the Enterprise has been told to do, which is carry these photon torpedoes, these really advanced technology that Starfleet has never seen before, into battle to fire upon Klingon to take John Anderson out. Scotty sees and smells a bad fish the whole time. He doesn't like it one bit. So Kirk, because he's following orders and knows better than to argue with Scotty, accepts Scotty's resignation. So while they're trying to find Anderson and lure Anderson out of hiding, they threaten him with these tornadoes at Kronos. And Anderson, after saving the away team, he says to them, how many torpedoes are there, the ones that you threatened me, how many are on your ship? And I'm making this review very long and rambling, but the long and the short of it is that another Starfleet science officer, who is the daughter of Admiral Marcus, sneaks her way aboard the Enterprise, and her name is Carol Marcus, of course, and longtime fans of Star Trek will recognize that name because of things that happen later in timeline number 1. But anyway, Carol Marcus, through the convincing of John Anderson, who reveals himself to not be John Anderson, but instead the one and only Khan. Yeah, that's right, Khan. Freaking awesome. I called it right from the very first trailer. It was amazing. But yeah, Khan convinces Kirk that, hey, Starfleet isn't being up and up with you here. So they open up the torpedoes and they realize that humans are in these torpedoes. So Khan works his magic and convinces Kirk that Starfleet is coming after him, and they just want the war with the Klingons to turn the Federation into a battle community. Well, while this is happening, Kirk, because Scotty is no longer officially on the crew, recruited Scotty to go into this off-the-books mission to go to the coordinates that Khan gave him to find out what was there. And what he finds there is this ginormously huge battleship that is bigger and stronger than anything Starfleet has ever put out. And it turns out that Khan was telling a half-truth, and that Marcus was there to sacrifice the Enterprise crew, and he does want the war with the Klingons, but Marcus in his own mind doesn't feel like he's doing anything wrong, because he feels like he's trying to stop what he started, which is letting Khan and his advanced race of humans go, because he knows how dangerous they are. So while this is happening, while Kirk and Khan and Scotty are down on this other ship trying to stop Marcus from destroying the Enterprise, Spock contacts Spock 1, Leonard Nimoy, and asks about Khan. And Spock 1 is like, you know my vow, your path is to walk on your own. Your path is yours to walk on your own, and I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to alter your future. That being said, Khan Noonien Singh is the most dangerous adversary that the Enterprise ever faced. So Spock realizes it through Spock, and then Kirk, because of things that are happening on the ship, realizes that, hey, they're actually helping Khan, and Khan's not helping them. So Marcus tries to stop Khan after they get aboard his ship. He can't. Khan snaps Marcus's neck and threatens the Enterprise. The Enterprise then takes the Khan crew out of the torpedoes and uses them to destroy the ship. And Khan manages to escape. And in the meantime, because of the attack, the Enterprise has just been so utterly destroyed that it's got almost no life support in it at all, and it's about to die. So for any of you that have seen Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, you know what's coming here. There is a situation where an officer is forced to go into the warp core without a radiation suit to get the ship to fire again and get it out of there. The difference is, because this is alternate timeline number 2, it was Kirk that goes in, and Kirk that dies, not Spock. So Spock is actually the one in this film that yelled, Khan! Meanwhile, Bones, because he's been analyzing Khan's blood samples and interjected them into a dead Tribble, realizes that they have regenerative powers, and so you can guess what happened. Spock stops Khan after going down to the planet. They then fuse Kirk with Khan's blood, and Kirk is saved. The Enterprise is rechristened, and we go into the next film. So just an absolutely unfreaking believable movie. It was such a great emotional ride, and the biggest surprise of all for me was 2 things. Number 1, the lens flares weren't distracting, even though it was J.J. Abrams and it was Star Trek in the lens flares, as some people had dubbed it. They weren't distracting. They seemed very minimal compared to Star Trek 2009. And the other big thing that was a surprise to me, because I'm not usually a big fan of 3D, was that seeing this in IMAX 3D was actually worth it. And it was the best 3D film I've ever seen. The ship and all the action was flying right in your face. It was just absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, Star Trek Into Darkness, 5 out of 5 stars all the way across the board. Not a single thing wrong with it. This alternate timeline by J.J. Abrams is working so well. He's making me fall in love with the original crew as much as I love the Next Generation crew, which is not an easy thing for me to admit. So if you're a Star Trek fan and you didn't know whether or not this was going to be any good because you've heard people talk about how it's very similar to another Star Trek film, which if you've sat all the way through this, you realize that that's Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. It is definitely worth seeing because it's its own film and everything about it will keep you breathless. So I love Star Trek Into Darkness. Kudos to Paramount, kudos to J.J. Abrams, kudos to the entire Enterprise crew. Just absolutely amazing. You let me know what you think about it down below in the description box through comments or through a video response if you've seen it. Don't forget to check out the company I work for, Handi Enterprises Inc., your assistive technology experts. All company contact information, as always, is down below in the description box. Please help them out because it directly helps me out if you haven't done so already. This is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.